Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. How is everybody?
Are we here?
We are here. We are live. Thank you so much for patience today. We had to make some little technical adjustments, and I'm not technical, so that's kind of crazy. Hi, my name is Taylor Thompson.
And I'm Larry Thompson, and certainly glad to have you here to our Millionaire Training Book Club here today on Friday.
So as you're coming on, let us know where you're coming in from. I know we got a lot of international people, so I want to see those flags today. That
was great last week when you guys started putting your flags up there from where you were coming in from. So anyway, we appreciate it. Are we ready to get started?
We're ready to get
we got a couple of great testimonials for you here today, guys. It's happened in just a couple of weeks' time, and we're going to kind of lay out the program here for you today because we're learning as we're going, okay? The book club is a brand new thing for us. It's never been done like this before, tying it to our basic concepts of the Millionaire Training and the 6 pillars that we have. So we're going to do our best here today to share with you here how to bridge all this stuff together. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like it a lot.
I'm super excited about this because we've been getting so many amazing comments, so much feedback from everybody across the globe. Like, I can't even tell you how endearing it is for me. Larry gets a comment and he'll read it to me, and then I get a comment and I'll share it with him. And so the feedback has just been absolutely amazing. And I mean, I think for me it's just the excitement from the everyday person, the person that maybe has kind of lost hope, and maybe it's just like, gosh, they've forgotten how simple this business can really be.
Yeah, except for a lot of people, network marketing has turned into a job, and a frustration job at that, because they're having to try all this new stuff that's out there today. But I want to talk a little bit, how did this happen? How did the Millionaire Training that got recorded back in February 21st, 1981, how did that happen? What led to that? For those of you that are in our academy, and I think it's up in the academy on the free portion. I'm not sure about that. But the El Paso story, okay, my El Paso story. That's where this is where I learned these things. Now, you got to understand, I was taught this. A lot of you know, not everybody know, but I met Jim Rohn in 1968. And Jim Rohn and I joined the same company to the same night at the same meeting. Okay, in 1968, that company is called Bestline Products. And in the Millionaire Training book, you'll see a little bit of history that Ron Henley put together. That's important for you guys to know how that lineage all came about. And I'm not going to get into the story why I was there. Jim was there because Bobby wanted him, Bobby DePew, who's the original strategist and tactician of network marketing. Okay, he's the one that I learned from, him and Bobby and Jim is the two that I learned from. But Jim was there that night because Bobby wanted him to be vice president of training and lead the company. And Jim was there. He'd already looked over everything, and they basically had an agreement they were going to do it. But Jim says, I got to start as a distributor first. Give me 90 days building as a distributor. Then I can step into that corporate role, and there won't be any hesitation. There won't be any pushback or anything like that. Wouldn't have been that way anyway with Jim, because you guys know how he is. But that information that was shared with me, I had my first 90 days in the business, and this is important because this is kind of a pattern for a lot of people, most people. That first 90 days goes very well, okay? For some of us, it gets started, but sometimes it takes 90 days and nothing. But for those of us that got off to a pretty good start, that first 90 days is critical, okay? And I got off to a good start, but in my second 90 days, I was starting to flounder around, okay? Not because of any condition with the company, any condition with anything, except that I was out of my basic center of influence and I was running scared. And so I went into what we always caught, what I've been teaching now for many, many years, the management mode of working with my team. So that was my second 90 days. The third 90 days, okay, I went on what was called the National Expansion Program. And we can get into this on the deep dive because it's very, very important. When we get into the academy next week, we can get into that and talk about it. But that's where I learned, that's where I metabolized this all this information. Didn't have a book, okay? We did not have online. We didn't have any of that. What I had was Bobby and Jim gave my mom some tapes of a training class that they did, which is called a direct distributor school. And what happened for me, I'm out in El Paso, and again, I'd love to tell all the story right now, but we can't. I'm all by myself with no and never been out away from my home more than 100 miles from my home in my life, and in a state where there's nobody. Okay, there's nobody out there at all in Texas. And the only thing that kept me going was listening to those tapes. That was it. Okay, and I listened to them. And I'm all by myself, scared to death, guys. I can't even tell you how scared I was. I encourage you to go listen to watch El Paso. It would be very encouraging for you. But what happened for me was in that 90-day period where nothing was taking place, nothing I touched. I wasn't getting anybody sponsored. I was only surviving off of retail and wholesale of selling people product. And I'm this close to going back to California and getting back into construction work, this close. But what kept me going was those tapes that Bobby and Jim gave my mom to give to me, okay, to be able to listen to what the basic concepts and principles were. And what happened for me, it was very interesting, because what happened for me was that I started listening to this, and I started realizing, especially with Bobby's teaching, in about 4, 5, 6, 7 minute period, he would cover subject matter. And that subject matter was incomplete. It was complete. It was a complete concept, principle that made sense. And what happened is that I realized that every word he said, he would whatever point he was trying to make, like, for example, employ yourself, okay, goal mind attitude, okay, he would cover that subject matter in 3 or 4 different ways in a 6, 7, 8 minute period of time. And every word was there, but it wasn't the words. What I got away with was the psychology of the process, not what you say, but why you say it and the impact it has. Okay, go ahead.
So this really, for me, this really ties in, because we talked about, I mean, like what we talked about is that we're like, what is your job description, right? So I love what you're saying right here, is because it's not what you say, it's why you're saying it. And so we talked about like job description, but as Larry and I were talking about, it's like, okay, so to do your job description, you really need to know like your story piece, right? And you need to understand not what you're saying, but why you're saying it.
Because what you're saying isn't as nearly as important as why you're saying it.
And so there's so many times, like, for those of you who've been around us and you've heard us talk, or you've like, every single time, you guys can probably tell Larry's story just as probably good as he can. And maybe you can even tell my story as well. And so many times people lose sight of why that's so valuable. Not necessarily his story, but why a story, whenever he's listening to, like tying it to the tapes, listening to, why did he use those words? Why did Bobby use that word? Why did he use that phrase? And so whenever you understand this piece of it, now it's not mechanical, it's not transactional, it becomes a part of the psychology to where you
it's called communication.
Where how you're communicating your message. It's not about learning how to do a script or learning the words on the piece of paper that's going to create the value. It's understanding why you're communicating, how you're communicating with someone, because it's not for you, it's for the person listening.
Yeah.
And so I want to share this with you, because whenever you're talking about a job description, whenever you're talking about this piece of it, a story, whenever Larry tells a story, and any story, he's communicating something. There is a psychology behind it, but we'll talk about your story, your own personal story, as it relates to your job description. So many times people, it's just a story, right? It's just, and we really deep dive into this. We're going to be doing a deep dive this coming up with people inside our academy. The reasons why the story is so powerful. But here's the thing, if you pay attention to every single time we talk, what happens whenever you tell your story? You are creating an identification. You are creating a reason for why that person should listen to you and what you want to say next, right? Because so many times we lose sight of the value of our own story, not just to tell the story because, oh, yay, 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 look at me and how amazing I am. But more importantly, there's 4 parts to the story, and we're not going to get into that here. We deep dive into that later. But the first part of that is number 1 is how you identify with people, how you're actually connecting with people. And whenever you look in the book, that's how the book starts. Whenever you look at the book and Larry goes through the process of sharing his background. It's a long version of the story. But why is that so important? He started out that training that day with where he came from, what his background is. What were the struggles? What were all of those things that happened to him before he got to that moment, standing in front of that audience? Why was all of that so important? So many times people they skim over that piece. They don't understand the relevance of that piece. And this does go back to Bobby DePew. Yep. It does go back to why this is part of your training. Reading that part of the book is part of your training. Why is why he always makes a point. If you've heard Larry share his story, why it was important, that he got that call from Mike Fuller that day. Why, he'd never been to a meeting in his life. So he's connecting with the audience because there's a lot of people that have never been to a meeting, right? Yep. How he wanted to drive under the porte-cochere, as he calls it.
And I thought that's what it was. I still think it is.
Why that was so, and whenever he's sharing that story, he's creating a picture for you because the audience, the person listening, can connect with him. Why? Because he wants them to believe, wow, he's just like me. Wow, he's just like I am. He's not there.
If he can, maybe I can do it. That's the purpose, nothing else.
It is always the purpose, and it is create such an identification. And so whenever we're helping you package your story, whenever we're helping you leverage your story, whenever we're showing you why stories are so important, this is the reason why.
Yeah, and listen, I don't want you to get caught up in it. It's so easy to learn and so easy to do. It's scary. You can learn it in minutes. But let me tell you, we're going to deep dive into this in the Academy at the second Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of every month. What we do for the Academy members is that we come in and we deep dive, and we give them between 6 and 8 hours of live interactivity meetings, trainings for all our Academy members, 2 to 2.5 hours on Tuesday, and same thing on Wednesday and Thursday, okay? And so we'll get into that for you. But the job description and being able to share that job description away, it's so simple and it's so effective. Okay, but what we want to go into here today is give you the broader picture of how to use the book club. Okay, the broader picture of how to use the book club and how to take advantage of it and how to use it to grow you, to grow your team, to grow your check, to grow your company. That's what this book club is really all about. And so what happened for me to get to this book club, okay, to get to this book, to get to the tape, to get to the book, to get to the book club, is all part of the process of understanding of the fun, simple, magical thing to make things happen. Job description. Certainly you have to learn how to tell your story. There's only 3 or 4 things you got to learn how to tell your story around. That's it. Okay. The rest of it is just common sense. Okay. The rest of it is just communication. But when you get into the deep dive of the 6 pillars, that's when that starts to come alive for you. But let's talk job description for a minute. What is your job description? What is a distributor's job description? And this has gotten distorted over the last decade, okay? And I love Taylor's phrase. Taylor talks about how what's happened to our profession and our industry is that today, everybody's learning how to be a marketer and brand themselves and do all of that stuff before they become a network marketer. Well, I guarantee you'd have lost me at the very first training class. I didn't want to be a marketer. I didn't even want to be a network marketer. It was multi-level back then. It wasn't multi-level. It's pyramiding back then, okay? I didn't want to do all that stuff. I wanted fun, simple, magical, okay? That's what I was taught by Bobby and Jim, the strategists and tacticians and the philosophy approach to what our business is all about. And what really took place here is that through my working with them as close as I did, and something I'm extremely proud of, okay? Nobody has spent more stage time and personal time with Bobby DePew and Jim Rohn than me, okay? Nobody. And that was a working relationship that became a personal relationship that became it was like family, okay? And we talked all the time, and whenever we were talking, it was about how to get just a little bit better, how to communicate just a little bit more like this. And what that did from 1968 to 1981, it led to that day, February 21st, 1981, when that tape recorder was duct taped to the front seat in the center aisle. We didn't even know how to do that kind of stuff properly, but we recorded this, okay? And as we recorded this and we got this information in place, that is what laid the foundation for the next generation of network marketing, okay?
So let's, what Larry's talking about here, whenever we're talking about, job description and how it ties into your story. There's a thing out there. I mean, we talk about marketing, right? Whenever we think about marketing, and I want you to think about it from this kind of perspective. If you're thinking about marketing, right? Marketing is a way that you're getting somebody to raise their hand. I mean, so like, remember whenever you ran ads, you were trying to get somebody to raise their hand.
And I wish it hadn't. It scared me to death.
I mean, okay, so those of you, new ads in the newspaper, some of you may not even remember even what a newspaper is. You may be young enough, I don't know, old enough. But running ads in the newspaper, if you've never ran an ad in the newspaper to get somebody to raise their hand, to have a conversation, to share your story, man, you're in for experience. Like everybody needs to have that experience at least one time. But he was whenever the phone was ringing in his hotel, they were chewing him up and spitting him out. And he literally had the pillow over the phone.
Because it was hardwired.
Because it was hardwired to the wall.
I didn't want to hear it ring anymore.
I mean, so that was part of his marketing, right? To get somebody to raise their hand. But that didn't work for Larry, right? That worked for me. That's how I got started. That's how I came into the business, was an ad. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. So, but that didn't work for him. And I want you to go back and think about our flywheel, right? The flywheel, people, what do you do? You're talking to people you know, or people you don't know. How do you go about doing that? I don't know. That's your job. That's part of your job description, how to figure it out. But marketing is something that you have no control over, right? You're putting an ad out there,
post,
or I used to
video.
do business card flyers, or maybe it's a post on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe you're running Facebook ads. That's marketing, right? And sometimes whenever you're just getting started, like, you have no control over that. You don't know how to do any of that, and that's okay. That's okay. You got to go back to basics. You got to go back to fundamentals, because you have to talk to people. What did Larry do? He did the 10 penny method, right?
And it's all in the book.
It's all in the book. But I want you to think about, that was actually I'm going to use the word prospecting, because he had absolute control over who he was going to have the conversation with. He had absolutely control over who he was going to share his story with, right? Whenever you prospect, whenever you have a conversation, you're sharing your story. It's use, talk, demo. That's the concept that we base everything around. So I want to
set this up before we go. You're going to testimonies?
I
want to go set this up before we go to testimonies. Okay? Here's the setup for this. Okay. Your job description in the Millionaire training, I talked about job description, and I'm going to share something with you. Most of you are going to pass out and faint right now. Our job description was simple. We needed to onboard 10 new members every single month. Okay. 10 new members every single month. You tell someone that today they got to personally enroll 10 people a month, they'll pass out on you. They don't have enough, there's not enough air in the room to get them to keep moving, okay? The book, The industry was built off of the things I'm talking to you about. All the success stories were built off of these concepts, these principles, this philosophy. That's what it stands for, okay? And it is network marketing, not marketing. There is a difference between those two things. I didn't have to learn branding. I didn't have to learn marketing. I had to learn how to do my business a day at a time and a brick at a time. So I'm going to talk to you about here your job description, and I'm going to talk to you about how to make this thing work according. And Taylor has shared all this with you here about the stories, and we're going to get into that deeply next week here, okay, on the academy. But here's what takes place, okay? If you're going to go out here and tell your story, and you're going to go out here and get 10 new members a month, I'm going to make it easy on you, okay? I'm going to make it easy. You don't have to get 10 new members a month. You will be doing that in 60 and 90 days. You will be doing that. And a big portion of your team will be doing that if you follow these principles and these concepts and what we teach. And you're going to get some really live testimonials that are fresh here in just a moment. You're going to get that, okay? And these testimonials that you're going to get, it's across the board. This is different companies, different countries, different products, different compensation models, everything. And it's working like crazy. But here's what I want you to think about: how to use the Millionaire Training Book Club. How to use the Millionaire Training to whatever your company is, whatever your product is, whatever your methodology is, maybe it's branding all the way. I don't care what it is, how to incorporate and bridge in this stuff that we're talking about with whatever you're doing, and then get a better vision about how to make what you are doing that isn't duplicating very well in most cases, be able to adjust and make it happen. So as a distributor, okay, what I would want to do here as a distributor is I would want to get my new person interested in what I got and get started with me as fast as possible. And then you know what I would like to do next, okay? I would like to see where they are with their mindset, okay? The mindset, everything that's in Millionaire Training, in the book, okay, in the cat, everywhere it is, in the book club, it's about mindset, okay? Now, I understand you can go out here and buy 10 courses in 10 minutes about mindset, how to set goals, how to do all that. What if you already knew all this? What if you already knew absolutely that everything that's been taught to you, that you got to learn this, you got to do that? What if you already know it? Okay, and all you got to do is dial in the GPS and be able to focus on it. That's what we're talking about. So I want you to think about onboarding 10 new members in your pay line. Okay. Oh, that now takes the pressure off of you. Okay. Now I'm not talking about a pay line that you got two guys below you and they got 5 apiece. I'm talking about to the next guy. Okay. You on a team to the next guy, get your own 10 in your pay line. That doesn't count someone else's. Just make it a little challenge here, okay? Now, what would I do with them next? I would get them on the free Millionaire Training Book Club. Now, why would I do that? Because it's free, and that all the information that has built our industry is right here. Everybody it's there, and they'll go in there. All the mindset that you need is in the Millionaire Training, the mindset, okay? But now then, I would like to get them on the book, and I'd like to get them interested in the book club. Why the book club? So they can say, I want to know where this person is, where they're coming. And I want them to get to the free book club. And I wanted to set to something like this. And I want them to go download the book and download the audio track. And I want them to go get the book. That's what I want. Now I know what I'm dealing with, okay? And you know why I want to do that? Not to test them out. I want them to test me out. I want them, the whole goal is to get them in a mindset that if they can do this with whatever's going on in their life, then I maybe could do this. That's what the book club is all about. Every one of these guys and women, guys and girls, okay, gotta get kicked here, okay, okay. Every one of these people, individuals here that are in here, they did not become successful because they read, at that point, listened to the Millionaire Training. The Millionaire Training gave them a mindset that they had a belief system that if these people can be successful, these other people, truck drivers, waiters, waitresses, okay, school teachers, construction workers, then perhaps I can too. It will get you to believe, just like it did me in El Paso, that I can do this. If I'll just stick with it, I can do it. So it's the mindset. And once I've got the mindset, now then guess what I got to do? I got to get my new distributor, doing your 10 here to your pay line. Don't pass out on me. Every month, go get your 10, at least in the month of December. Go get your 10, okay? Take them to the book club, get them to download the book, get them to download the audio, and give them the best odds you can give them. That was what happened to me in El Paso, Texas, when I was by myself, okay? And I metabolized it, and I said, wait a minute, this is simple. I think I can do this. Scary, okay? But now, once they do that, then guess what's next? They now need to get into applied activity. Everyone talks about personal growth in our space today. Personal growth is important. But I'm telling you, personal growth, you don't get from reading books. You don't get it from watching videos. You don't get it from being here on us. And you don't get it from buying courses and walking on hot coals. You get personal growth through activity. Activity. So there's applied activity. So my next move would be to get them into the academy. That's the next move that I would like to get them into. And we got a very special announcement about that at the end of the stage. So stay with us here. You're gonna love it.
I love this part right here because, whenever you think about mindset, right? What is the hardest part whenever somebody is getting started? The hardest part is them believing that they can do it. That's the hardest part of getting somebody to step out of their comfort zone, because they're looking around at other people and they're comparing themselves. They're like, I don't know if I know what to say. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can do what they do. So what we're talking about is giving them a little bitty baby steps of confidence, of believability, that if you just learn your story, what's happened to you, right? And you can take that and get one new customer. Let's talk about even you're brand new here, just getting one new customer a week, what that could do and how that can build their confidence in moving forward and their belief system. That's what we're talking about here, and why the book club is so powerful and how you can leverage it. And so I wanted to come on. Are you ready?
Almost. Okay. Almost. Okay. So again, if I'm sponsoring a brand new person, what I want to do is I want to get them to the book club. It's free. I want them to get around something that encourages them. I want to get them around something that gives them hope. That's what happened to us. I went through that process without a book. Okay. I went without really a tape, because it wasn't like it is that tape that this was put on. That wasn't what I got. That was a result of what I got put together by me from my experience and my perception of what Bobby and Jim taught me. That is their influence brought together for me. Okay. So what I want my person to do is get that mindset that we're talking about here, that perhaps I can do it. Now, once I get them to do that, then I want to get them into action. And now what happens with the academy today is a bridge between traditional network marketing and today's audience language and behavior that has changed in the network marketing space. That's exactly what happened to us in 1980 when we started Herbalife. There was a new audience, a new language, a new behavior. Okay, that was what happened, and we identified it and we built on it. That's what we're doing here again today with you guys, with the book club. Okay, so I want to share. Taylor wants to get these testimonies. Everyone wants to hear them. Okay, but I want you to hear what happened with them getting involved with the book club. Okay, getting the book. Okay, getting the download of the tape, and then getting some people on their team to do that thing. Okay, get on. They got in the book club. That's what they did. They got the book. They got the audio. That's what they did. And then they got people on their team to do the same thing. And now they got people coming into the academy. Some of their people are growing like crazy and haven't even got to the first deep dive into the academy yet. Most of their team has not been there yet. They'll be there with us next week. So let's go to, who are you going to go to first?
Okay. So we got Roger, because he was going to be on last week and had a little technical challenge, but I'm going to save him. But I want to go right now over to Spain. And let's see, we're going to add Miss Gemma.
Hey.
Gemma.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You look great too. Love it.
Thank you. Exciting to be here. And I know a lot of people on the call, which is incredible.
I love this. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit of background about Gemma. So she was one of the groups. So we talked about Roger last week, but this was whenever we did a live, whenever we launched the book, and Fraser Brooks had us on his show, and we gave away some free live trainings, and Gemma just happened to be one of those. And she came on, and we did a live meeting with her, and then we said, okay, we gave her some direction, we gave her some things to do, and so I thought we would come on and let you kind of share what happened since you got the book, what's happened with you and your team, and kind of give the guys a little.
It's been about 3 weeks, if my memory serves me well. Everything she's going to tell you has been a 3-week process.
Yes. So name where you're from, and then tell kind of where you were, like business-wise, like kind of that
struggle.
Tell the before, and then the book club, and then where you are now.
And by the way, she was successful in her company. She's not coming in as ragtag. She was already successful, ranked up to very significant rank.
Yes. So, okay.
Awesome. Brilliant. So, hey guys, Gemma Devine, originally from Northern Ireland, but living now in Spain. And yeah, it was an absolute honor to have won the call with the guys. I was set up for a 15-minute coaching call. 51 minutes later, I came off. My mind was exploding. So I have the book, absolutely. And I won't lie, it is my first book that I have read of 2020. I'm the worst reader. I'm audibles all the way. Give me YouTube videos. And wow, I couldn't put it down. The content I knew from previously, but it was the stories that totally blew my mind. So where it really all came together, I got straight into the academy. I needed to do something for me. I felt I was really lost in my direction of what I was going to do. So I jumped into the academy, and I was so fortunate that the first deep dive was that very next week. We had 8 hours together. It was truly insane, you know, and I went live within my own group, and the feedback from them was, wow, that's the Gemma we know. There's the spark, there's the confidence, because I felt really lost in how I was building my business. I was getting caught up in what to post, how to post, when to post, cold messages, you know, really reaching out to people. It wasn't me. It didn't sit with what built my business at the beginning, the fun, the simple, the magical, the just passionate about how incredible the product was. So I encouraged everybody to get the book. We now have, I think, 25 in the book club. And we were super fortunate that, you know, we got a focus call just Wednesday of this week. And, you know, we've 9 in the group that we know we're moving forward, but already the energy within the group, I've already personally sponsored 4 new members, and the guys within the team, there is already duplication of that. That's purely just from reading the book, listening to the audios, taking it back to basics, and just doing our job description. And this was the biggest thing for me. I had fallen into the trap that the manager, not, you know, getting management mode, and even this year to have reached a new rank in the company, all of a sudden it was like, right, what are we doing? You know, what's the group doing? Where's the points coming from? And what was I doing? I was just watching points, and it really was highlighted to me when the growth disappeared, and it was just like I had to get back to me. And it was, you know, just reading this, getting into it, employing myself, and like what Laurie did, you know, I have the 10 pennies. I don't actually have the 10 pennies, but I have a book that every day I have to get those 10 conversations. But it's asking, well, will you try the products? Will you join the opportunity? Whereas I was just getting caught up in conversation. Yep. So yeah, it's been incredible.
And your team is growing also. It's not just you, it's your team. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is, because I had lacked my own confidence, nothing was getting instilled to them. We were, even as an organization, we were very disjointed. You know, somebody was doing this, and what they were doing was not the problem, but we weren't together in like energy. We weren't together in focus. And when we just took a group of us, got back to basics, we're accountable to each other, we're showing up, we have a book club WhatsApp group that it's just like celebrating any wins that we have, that we're just going together. And it's, yeah, we can now see the momentum. We're super excited for January, February, March. The seeds are being planted right now, and you know, it's truly amazing. And we just have changed what we're saying, you know, and why we're saying what we're saying. We had got quite focused on one specific way to find a customer, and realized that we were only chatting to 5%, not the 80, the 15. And out of that 80, 15, and 5, that's been the biggest wake-up call for me, because I was speaking to 5% of my organization, not 95, not 100%. So that's been, if I give a top tip, that is it. And if nobody understands that yet, 80, 15, and 5 blew my mind.
Wow.
Wow.
I love that. Now,
I love your attitude and your passion. And you would give me, you know what I mean? I love it. I love it. And you're a different Gemma than you were 3 and 4 weeks ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I can see it in your face, and I can see it in your smile. I can see, like, your whole aura has completely changed since our first conversation that we had with you. And I loved what you shared. Share with the team. I loved what you shared about your gardening thing.
Yeah, so I have, every day I have to do 30 minutes of the Academy. That's my DMO, it's in there. So I put my headphones in, and it was number 5 in the 6 pillars. And Larry talked about it in the 6 pillars, and he says, you know, if you're taking out the garbage and somebody else is able to take out the garbage, they got to do it. If you're in the kitchen, cleaning the kitchen, and somebody else is able to do it, they have to do it. And the next thing then, it was like, I was doing the gardening. We've just got a new vegetable patch here, and I was like, if I don't take control, it's not going. And I was like, why am I doing the gardening? Somebody else can do the gardening. This is not getting me to talk to people. This, you know, yes, I need to learn the Academy, but I need to get into action more than anything. So I hired a gardener. He was here today while I was doing my messages. So.
I love that. I love that. That's such a great tip. So I appreciate you sharing that in real life. So this is going to be so much fun. I just appreciate you taking out, well, first of all, just taking everything and trusting the process, right? Taking everything that you're learning and incorporating it with what you've been doing, and you taking responsibility is such, and just in what's happened just in 3 short weeks, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
And most of your people, they're going to get the deep dive into Academy here next week. And that is, and you know what happens then. It happened for you. It's going to happen for them. And each time it's higher level of understanding and metabolization, like of nutrition. It's unbelievable.
So I absolutely love that. Well, thank you so much, Gemma. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take her, and now we're going to go to Roger.
Welcome back.
Hey, how are we doing? Do I sound like a robot again?
Yeah. No, you sound great. It sounds great.
Good.
I love the text that Taylor and I about what was happening, and I tell that story and stuff.
Oh,
and they haven't inside yet.
Well, we've had an amazing few weeks, and the way we connected is exactly the same as Gemma, because I was watching the same interview that Fraser interviewed you, and it was weird because Fraser's dad is one of my best friends. We've been friends for 30 years. I was involved with a network marketing company with him 30 years ago, and we drove the length and breadth of the UK doing meetings, back in the days when we used to run ads and we would do a hotel meeting and we would drive for 4 hours to the hotel meeting and then 4 hours back, and we were listening to you. And so all of a sudden I got a phone call from Sam and he said, "You'll never believe who Fraser's going to interview." Well, he'd interviewed Les Brown, he'd interviewed lots of real famous guys. And I said, "Who?" And he said, "Larry Thompson." I said, "No, it's right. We've got to be there." So we were waiting for you. And you came on, and I saw you hold the book up. Now, that's all you did. You did that. And long before Fraser mentioned it, I'd already been on Amazon and bought it. Because as soon as I saw it, because I've worn those cassettes out so many times.
Yeah.
And you can't get them now. So yeah. I wanted the book. I got the book. And then Fraser said, if anyone buys the book and sends me a receipt, you get a 15-minute free coaching call with me. And then you guys said, well, we'll do the same. So before the thing would ended, the screenshot was already over there, and a personal message to Fraser saying, "You got to make sure you do not lose this." So unfortunately, I was one of the ones that won the call, and I think I was probably the third person whose name came out of the hat to win the call, and you kindly did the call. And it took some things back to me because, like I said, I've been around network marketing for a long, long time. I took a long break out of network marketing. I came back to the industry about 3 years ago. But one of the things I always loved about all the audios that you used to give and used to hear, I love the simplicity of network marketing. And just as you guys have said, that simplicity is disappearing. Everybody's like, no, you got to be on YouTube, you got to be on Instagram, you got to do this. You need to have a DMO of contacting so many billion people every second, and and it's just like so much, and it's overwhelming. And I understand new people coming in saying, I can't do that. Yeah. And I knew the concept was that you've got to have new people looking, thinking, well, I can do that. Anybody can do that. So you and I had a talk, and I mentioned something about the process that we went through, and Taylor, you stopped me and you said, "Do you think that sounds simple?" Yeah, I did until you asked me that question. Yeah, I thought I'd simplified it as much as I could. And then you turned around and you agreed kindly to do a call with a dozen or so of my guys. So we got another call together. In the meantime, I was talking to Simon, my sponsor, Fraser's dad, and we said, like, we've just complicated this way, way, way too much, because we were trying to do the modern 21st century automation. We had webinars that ran every 15 minutes, and we got automated recruiting systems that really don't work. But we tried all kinds of stuff. And we're going like, this doesn't work. Let's try something different. That doesn't. We know what works. We've been doing it for 30 years. We know what works. And I said, we'll stop complicating this. Go back to basics. So you did a call. You inspired a dozen people. I mean, you blew them away. They absolutely loved every minute. And what started as originally intending to be a 15-minute call between the two of you, you've spent hours with us, and we appreciate every second of it because the whole team got motivated. So we got to the point where we said, right, let's forget about webinars and automated stuff. We were getting like 5 people a day to drift over to a webinar, and then they had to give an email address to register, so they left and they never saw the message anyway. That wasn't working. So right, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to do live Zooms, no recordings, just live. You're either there. If you're not there, you're going to miss it. And let's put some urgency in it. And we'll do, instead of doing 1 a week, we'll do 5 a week. And for the last week, we've been getting like, we started last week doing the lives. We'd already got the first week. After listening to you, the team got motivated. We probably brought a dozen people in. Last week, we turned around and we said, right, well, let's give you an opportunity. We will do a 15-minute Zoom call. But this is the deal. This will be really short introduction. A chunk of testimonials where people can just say, this is my name, this is my background, this is why I got started, and this is what's happened. Short, sexy, exciting, and let's get people going. We've got prospects signing up like it's going out of fashion. We've got people putting 50, 60, 70, 80 people a night on these calls. Instead of just getting 5 a day that might think about it and can't be bothered. And now we've got excitement. Now we've got people joining. I've got people in my team moving rank, and that's really exciting to see the rank advancing. And to get to stories like we did a call last night, and one of my girls who only joined us a few months ago was able to say, like, well, now my royalty pays my mortgage. That changes people's lives. And that's far more appealing to a prospect than our top earner earns $860,000 a year. Well, so what? It's like, that doesn't hit me in the pocket. I can't imagine I can ever do what he does.
Yes.
But a lady that owns a sandwich shop is paying her mortgage from a part-time business. That's powerful.
Yes.
And that's what we've really been getting back to. And the book, I mean, the book is, well, I knew what to expect, but it's fabulous because as I was reading it, I could hear your words as I was reading it. I could hear the voice. I mean, the audios have now been burned onto CD, so turn your car into a university. Wherever you drive, do not listen to crappy pop music. Put something educational on. Just get this drummed into you. And we're not traveling so much at this moment in time. We're just coming out of a second lockdown here in the UK. But I had to do some driving the other day to see a family member. But I'm driving down the road. If people could see me, they must think I'm an idiot laughing at the stuff that I can hear, because everything is so relatable and it takes me back in time. But it's simple and it's duplicatable, and that's the magic, and that's what we're getting. And for the guys that will watch out, I've got a bunch of my guys on here. I've been watching the comments coming up here. So you guys that are out there doing it, I appreciate every second of what you're doing. And we really do. We have something more powerful because it's simple, And what I was trying to say to people, because we've been looking at the whole process that we do, and I thought, like, every time you put into your process something that a prospect has to say, I don't understand. Well, that's a problem. Every time you say something what do you mean? No, you've got to cut that out. Wherever there is something that makes people stop and think, get rid of it. Find out a way of making it so that they can just go, I understand, I understand, I understand. I want to do it. That's it.
Yes.
And I learned many, many years ago, this is the simplest, best paid job in the world, or the toughest, worst paid job in the world. It's up to you to decide which one it's going to be.
I love that. I love this too, because like Roger, like you just put into everything what we just talked about this whole day, or what we talked about today on this episode, because having the conversation and bringing it down to simplicity and sharing stories, sharing the stories that fit into the 80%, fit into, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yep, that's absolutely it. Every time.
Today, and bringing it back down to where people can believe again
in themselves.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've been making sure, because what we've been saying to the team is, your story, not my story, not our mega upline. Your story is more important than ours is, because our prospects can relate to you more than they can relate to us. Yeah. And so testimonials the other day, we had one lady who said, the other day I made £25 in my lunch hour. We had someone else who turned around and said, I'm working on a roof, but I can still do this, and I can still sell some products, and I can use the products whilst I'm working on the roof, and I can make money. And people are giving little tiny testimonies that are talking about £50 a day, £70 a day, and a couple that are putting the big stories in as well, so people can see a bigger picture.
And if I remember correctly, it was your group that I said the reason that you guys aren't recruiting is because you don't believe your story is strong enough. You don't believe your story is good enough to recruit somebody, so you're not sharing your story.
Absolutely. And that was, I have belief in my story, and the people above me have belief in their story, but the guys in the team didn't have the belief. And that's what we had to do. And that's what and to some degree, I'd lost track of it. Sam had lost track of it. We get distracted by everything that comes around you. And you think that it's all about the big guys that are making the millions, but it's not relatable to the average man in the street. And we go back to the 80-15-5. Well, there's a lot more of the 80s that we need to be talking to.
Yes.
Because the 80s get you to be the 5. If you don't get the 80s, you're not going anywhere.
That's right.
So we've got to get everybody. And
Golly, I thank you so much for sharing this with us here, Raj. And it's right on the money. And I know that when Roger's saying he did a Zoom, okay, you guys want to know what they're doing. We have no idea what. We never told him to do a Zoom. He and Gemma are doing it completely different. It's not about how you do it. Okay, what it's about is why these concepts and principles work. We didn't know until I saw that extra news 2 days ago that you were doing these kind of Zooms. Okay, quite frankly, I'd have said, well, I don't think I would have done that many a day, but it's working for you. Okay, and that's very, very important. And
here's the thing that I think is the most exciting. You know, I mean, out of everything that's been said, it goes back to exactly what we're talking about. Even though you and Gemma both having success in your own company, you were still you had lost your own growth because your team you weren't growing and your team wasn't growing. Yeah. And so whenever you look at, no matter if you're just getting started or if you've been around, your belief in the simplicity, your belief that as you get into activity is what's making this happen.
And again, they're not in the same country. Okay, I know you guys are hearing, you're hearing the accent, the UK accent, and Ireland accent. They're in two completely different countries, and they're in two completely different companies with completely different type of products.
Yeah,
totally different. One nutrition and one not. Okay, so
thank you so much, Roger. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is so exciting. You're going to have to keep us posted for sure on the growth and what happens as a result of this. This is going to be fun.
Let me what the message is here, and then we're going to talk about a very exciting announcement for you guys. Go get people in your pay line immediately in the business. Okay, get them in the Millionaire Training Book Club. Guess what happens when they join the book club? They get one free chapter that's in the academy, how to employ yourself. They can start right there while they're waiting on the book, while they're getting the download, whatever they're doing. Go get 10 new people in your downline, pay line to do this. Then what do you do? Okay, out of those 10 people, okay, I want you to think about this. 80% of those people are going to join the academy. Okay, if all figures stay the same, now it may be 64, it may be 53, it may be 97. Okay, but the idea, the basic philosophy at 80, 15, and 5 applies. 80% of the people that go through this are going to join the academy. Okay, and in the academies where we do the deep dive and dig into all of this stuff. Now, 80% are going to go out there and earn that $500 to $1,500 a month by doing one customer a week. Okay, but there's going to be people that want to make $500 to $1,500 a week. How do they do that? In the academy next week, we're going to be talking about how to get them to build a little team of $500 to $1,500 a month people. A little team. That's how you go from $500 to $1,500 to $500, $1,500 a week. And then there's people who want to make $500, $1,500 a day. They build a bigger team. Everybody follows the same pattern. Everybody's having the same conversation. Everybody is.
Okay, so I'm going to throw something out here. You don't know that I'm going to do this.
I'm hanging on.
So here's what I'm going to say. So, because you heard from Gemma, you heard from Roger, you heard them, we did like a little coaching call, like a little 15-minute coaching call. So here's what I'm going to say. If you get 10 people inside the book club and you send me just message me, I got 10. I'm going to put your name into a drawing and we're going to give away 3 focus calls. We're going to give 3 coaching calls.
That's okay.
Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I just want to move the ball forward. I want you to move, get them to do all that. But what I really want you to do is get as many as you can involved in the academy next week because of what I'm about to tell you. I like this. We do this all the time. And by the way, We do different programs and different focus group things with different groups and teams based on their circumstances around the globe. We're always focus group testing stuff. So we're going to focus group test something right now that we're going to give you that's for everybody, okay? Because this deep dive that we're doing next, we always do it. I'm going to repeat this for you. The second Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of every month, we come in live, okay, interactive, and we dig down on the 6 pillars on Tuesday, a couple of hours plus, Wednesday, a couple hours plus, Thursday, a couple hours plus.
And you heard from Gemma. She had her first one just,
days after.
She was in November. She was
Yeah.
She got started on Monday, and we did our deep dive on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of November.
To help, this is a focus group concept, principle that we're going to be using for everybody across the board. Okay. This is a December special. Okay. We're testing this out, and we're going to see what happens with this. It's a December special. The Academy price is $480 a year tuition, okay? And that gives them all the access to everything, plus the deep dives that we do every single month with them, personal training with them generically and the stuff that we do. Here's what we're doing right now, okay? It's December special, okay? We understand COVID. We understand the difficult times that are out there. Anybody can join the Academy in the month of December. Not for the $480. That's still in existence. That they want to pay that up front, they do it. But if they'll come in and do $99 down, okay, and $39 a month, okay, it's more than $480 if you calculate it up, but they will be in the Academy because they want to be there. Your people want to be there after what you do. They want it. Okay, but let's be honest, it's sometimes a little bit struggle right now with what's going on around the world. Let's remove that barrier, and we're going to do this for you guys. Call it a December special, Christmas special, and we want you guys to have Yeah, we want everybody to get as many of your people in the Academy, especially this one next week.
Yeah, so we got to finish out 2020 strong because we got to set up 2021 for the best year ever.
Yeah.
You want to have a good first quarter of 2021, you've got to finish out 2020 with a bang. And so we want to equip you and give you every advantage that you possibly can have between the book club and between working with the Academy and the deep dive going into December.
You can just go over there and the Academy, and it'll give you 2 ways to join, $480 or the monthly.
So I've put up the Academy site here, wealthbuilding.pro. So the special is up there, and yeah, that's it. That's it for us today, guys.
Yeah, listen, we're so excited, and I can't, what is happening, what you hear here right now is happening around the globe with every possible company you can think of, and everybody's just getting their feet on the ground. Let's get through December, and then let's wait and get this momentum going through December. That extra momentum, that extra belief, that extra confidence, that extra passion, that little bit of extra desire, that little bit of extra willingness to work, okay? That little bit of teachability. And then let's go into January, that first deep dive, the second week of January, and we're going to take you through the first quarter 21 and have you, it's going to be unbelievable, guys. Let's go. Let's do this together.
Okay. So we're super excited. Thank you so much, Gemma, for being here. Thank you so much, Roger. Thank you for all your amazing comments. We are so excited to be working with each and every one of you. I hope you guys got some value out of today. This is it for us. We're signing off. We're hoping to see you on the deep dive. This is Taylor Thompson.
The big T, little L.
We're going to help you grow you.
So you grow your team.
So you can grow your check.
So you can grow your company.
So bye, guys.